Hello everyone, it's Lori with Behavior Education at Spirit Keeper Animal Sanctuary. Today is Monday, November 18th, 2024, and I thought I would introduce you to one of our snakes. This is Newton. Why am I doing a snake introduction video today? I am simply doing this because Newton has been out free roaming, and this is the third time I've had to retrieve him, so he's going back into his enclosure after this. But I thought, since he made me go to the trouble of retrieving him 3 times from areas where he wasn't supposed to be, that I would just go ahead and introduce him to you. I only do snake introduction videos if the snake has come out on their own and they are amenable to handling and they are consenting to interaction with the environment and with me. So Newton is a 4 or 5-year-old Python Regis. He's a royal python that was relinquished actually to a law enforcement officer in Florida when his owner was unable to care for him anymore. And then that person sent him here to live with us. And he got here in April of this year, so April of 2024. His exact age is unknown, but he's estimated to be 4 or 5 years old, and his history is really unknown. I know very little about him. He appears to be an albino, and he is a male. So that's Newton. Where did I get his name? He's named after Sir Isaac Newton. And if you're into science, or even if you've just gone to school, you should know who Isaac Newton is. And I named him after Isaac Newton. So his name is Newton. He's actually a very outgoing, personable snake. He is in this enclosure that's way up high on the stack of 3 other enclosures that are 4 foot by 18 by 18 inches. He comes out of his enclosure at rocket speed, and he either climbs up on top of the enclosures next to him and finds a way down, or he just climbs directly down from here and he gets down on the floor. And I'm really not comfortable with snakes being on the floor a lot because we have dogs. I have wheels on a lot of stuff. I'm always walking around, pushing my stool around, pushing my chairs around. So I prefer when snakes are free roaming that they go up high, which of course my carpet pythons, my Bredl's pythons do. They seldom touch the floor when they're out free roaming. The royals tend to always end up on the floor. So I really keep a close eye on him. He was out with another royal the other night during a meeting, and they're both males, and they started to go head to head. So I had to jump up and pick him up because I didn't want them to combat or get into it or anything. He does well free roaming with females. There's been no issue there. But today he just kept leaving the room and heading towards the back door, which has been open today for the dogs to go in and out of because we actually had a nice day in Colorado. So I don't need him going outside, and he just keeps going back. He keeps coming down on the floor and going back towards outside. And now it's starting to get dark and it's starting to get cold. I'm sure there's going to be other snakes waking up, wanting out, and I just can't keep an eye on Sir Isaac Newton here. So he's been out for several hours, and this is his 3rd or 4th time out this week alone. So I'm gonna just ask that he rest for a little while and cool his jets up there in his enclosure. And I took some short videos of him that I'll share with you in this video. As you can see, this is me attempting to put Newton away back into his enclosure. And when I do this, I usually just show the snakes their enclosure with the door open and allow them to go back in on their own, which he starts to do slowly. He wasn't really thrilled about going back into his enclosure. I close the door on the opposite side from where I'm allowing him to go back in. But he goes back in and then he immediately turns his head around and starts to come back out. So clearly he wasn't ready to be put away. When snakes are ready to be put away and I show them the open door to their enclosure, they readily and usually fairly quickly just go back into their enclosure and disappear inside. Newton didn't do that. He kept turning around and trying to come right back out. So he was hindering me in trying to put him away. And I really hate to do things against their will, although I understand that just the fact that they're in captivity is totally and completely against their will. I do the best I can under captive circumstances to let them have as much freedom of choice and agency as possible. And so ultimately I gave up and Newton got to come back out again. I eventually did have to retrieve him and put him away for the night as I had to go feed horses, and also other snakes wanted to come out. He does okay with certain other snakes out at the same time, but he had been out a very long time. In fact, he was out for a whole 24 hours just the day before, so I felt like I wanted him to chill out and rest in his enclosure, so he did eventually get put back up. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, everybody please remember to always be kind and love your animals.
Thank you.